Well, this is Lisa, my ex-wife, and then father and mother-in-law, Ray and Ann Benkin. I asked them to come, so thank you guys.
And who are those three little ones?
Haley, the oldest, she's 7. Levi, middle child, he's 4. And then Evan playing with the rocks is 2.
And they get their hair color from where?
I don't know.
We have 2 redheads. So you can do that.
So I wrote my testimony down, so I'll just read it from there. So growing up, I lived in a semi-Christian home and attended church fairly regularly. Around 8 years old, I asked Christ to come into my life, but really failed to submit to his lordship and was only really seeking insurance from hell at that point. So through high school, I had 2 pivotal relationships that kind of shaped my life going forward. And out of those, one of those relationships kind of led me to seek the approval of others, while the other led me to seek affection. And neither of those desires was grounded in Christ. So kind of through that, and as a result of that, I developed a dangerous and sinful addiction that kind of took hold of my life at that point. And once in college, I was able to make my own choices, which included not going to church and or seeking God in any capacity. My addiction only got worse, but it didn't really seem to affect my life, so I didn't do anything about it and then left it unchecked. I met Lisa, my future wife, late in college. We dated for several years and got married when I was 26. I eventually made my way back to church, but that was only really because Lisa had kind of pushed me to do that, and it was because it was just kind of expected. Nothing really I wanted to do. So life seemed to kind of settle in at that point, going through just the normalcy of life. But my sinful addiction kind of drove a wedge in our marriage and continued to do so going forward. By the time we moved to Arizona in 2014, I was living a completely separate life from Lisa, and God had kind of given me over to that sin at that point. This downward spiral continued until 2018, when I betrayed our marriage vows and made the worst decision of my life, which was to end our marriage of 8 years. I reached rock bottom, kind of following that divorce, lost my wife, my family, and my kids, and any friends that I had. I had nowhere else to turn, and I couldn't keep avoiding God anymore. He started using that situation to call me to Him and change my heart. And when we were married, Lisa used to write Bible verses on these note cards, and she kind of had them all throughout the house. And there was one that she had in a cupboard, and I would get in this cupboard almost every day, so it kind of hit me over and over and over. It was 1 John 2, 3 through 4. By this we know that we have come to know Him, if we keep His commandments. The one who says, I have come to know Him, and does not keep His commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. And that was me. I was a liar, and Jesus wasn't in my life, and that was pretty evident. Although I'd made progress cutting out sinful habits earlier in 2018, I hadn't fully submitted to God and was still trying to control my life my way. I finally realized I needed to get right with God and asked forgiveness and a new heart, and did that late in 2018. So since that time, I've been seeking God and coming to know Him more, and He's been working on revealing areas of my life that need to be corrected or improved. Life still is difficult, but I have overwhelming joy and comfort knowing that God is with me through it all, and He's been helping me day by day. So my favorite and most impactful verse through this whole process has been Psalm 25, 4 through 5. Show me the right path, O Lord. Point out the road for me to follow. Lead me by your truth and teach me, for you are the God who saves me. All day long I put my hope in you.
Very good.
Back to this side.
All right, get around this. Okay.
Where am I going?
Kind of far side.
You're going right. I'm coming right behind you. Figure if you set right there,
Okay.
and put your feet that way, it's gonna be dicey, but
Okay.
we'll get you in there. Yeah, there you go. You're gonna make it easy for me. That's good. Perfect. So Luke, tell me today, who's the Lord of your life?
Jesus.
Okay, very good. Because of your public profession of faith in Him, it is a privilege to baptize you, and we're going under right now, okay? In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.